I'm Charlie Bright of Gold Derby, and today I'm speaking with Toshio Suzuki, the president of Studio Ghibli and the producer of the latest Hayao Miyazaki movie, The Boy and the Heron.
録音も
はい、録音ね。
First question I wanted to ask is when did Miyazaki tell you that he wanted to come out of retirement, and what was your reaction when he told you that?
宮崎監督がいつ引退を撤回して、また作品を作りたいと言ってきたのか、鈴木さんに、そしてその時の鈴木さんのリアクションを教えてください。
予告がありましたね。何回も。僕がね、オランダのマイケル・ドゥドビックさんっていう人とね、っていう人と一緒にね、ヨーロッパでジブリ映画を作るっていうことで、やり始めたんですよ。で、これ結果としてはね、この映画って、レッドタートルって言うんですけれど、ね、それを宮崎は薄々気がついてて、で、多分興味があったんでしょうね。僕に言い始めたんですよ。鈴木さんって、ジブリは、外国の人がね、ジブリの最後の作品になっていいのか。本当にそう言ったんですよ。ね。僕、どういう意味ですかって言ったら、鈴木さんも日本の人と一緒に映画を作るべきだって。でこれを言い出したのがね、あれいつだっけかな、もうかれこれ7、8年くらい前かな、もっと前ですね。8年。はい。
So there are a few signs. So he gave a few hints multiple times. And one time was after he said he was going to retire, I actually, so I myself teamed up with Michael Dudok de Wit, the Dutch director, and we made what was to become the Red Turtle together. And Miyazaki, he noticed that. And then he kind of was curious about it. And then he came up to me and then he said that, are you sure you want the last Studio Ghibli film to be directed by a non-Japanese? This was what he said. And I was like, what? And he said, I think you should make the last film with a Japanese director. And I think that was about 7 or 8 years ago.
で、僕もですね、いや、僕も日本の人と作りたいんだけどね、なかなかいい人がいないと。ね。まあ、本当は一番いいのはね、若くて才能ある、そういう人と巡り合いたい。そして映画を作りたいんだと。そしたら宮崎がね、なかなかいないよ。
And I told him that, obviously, I would like to make a film at Studio Ghibli with a young and very talented Japanese director, but it's very rare to find one. And then Miyazaki responded, I know.
で、そんなある日。
There's not much out there.
で、そんなある日ですね、僕が、ね、編集室で、レッドタートルの、ね、途中までできたものをね、全編こうやって見てたんですよ。ね、一人で。もう一人スタッフいましたけれど、その二人で見てたら、パッと気がついたら後ろに誰か立ってる。皆さんなんですよ。で、顔が合っちゃったでしょ。で、彼がこう言ったんですよ。このスタッフがいれば、俺も作れるよって言い出して。
And then one day we were I was in the editing room and I was going through some of the rough cuts of the Red Turtle, and I was with the cutting staff, the team staff, and then I was watching the rough cuts, and then I noticed somebody was standing behind me, and I turned around, it was Miyazaki, and so our eyes met, and then he told me then that if I had this team, I could make another film.
で、しばらく経って、彼から僕はレポートなのかな、手紙なのかな、受け取りました。ちょっと今の自分の心境書いたものだから鈴木さん読んでって。その中に書いてあったんですよ。いきなり。みっともないのは分かってる。ね。要するに、 みっともないのは分かってる。で、どういう意味かって言ったらね、あれだけ盛大な引退記者会見を開いた。それでもう一度映画を作るって言ったら、ね、世間の人はびっくりするだろうし、馬鹿にするだろうし、みっともないのは分かってる。でも、作りたいって言うんです。
And then after a while, he came over to me, and then he handed me a letter. Basically, the letter was, he wrote what he was going through in his mind, what was going through his mind. He wrote it down, and then he asked me to read it. And then it basically said what's I think in the press release too. But he basically said that I know it's pathetic. I know that after doing such a big announcement of retirement, and then immediately coming back and doing another film may be something that people would ridicule, but I do want to make another film.
で、僕は迷わずに言いました。多くの素晴らしい映画監督たちが、ね、年を取ってもう一回だけ作りたい。何回も見てきた。一本として成功作はない。あなたはそれをやりたいんですかって聞きました。
And my immediate response was that, well, I've seen many, many great, legendary directors at the end of their career. They always come back and want to make another film as their swan song. But most of them, I have never hardly seen any film that had succeeded in their last efforts. And do you want to do the same? Was my reaction.
で、彼が、ね、僕の言ったことを無視して、今年半年かけて20分分のストーリーボードを書く。それを見てほしい。
But he ignored me. And he said that, okay, I'm going to spend 6 months putting together a storyboard worth of 20 minutes. So can you watch that? That was our conversation.
I love that I find it very funny that he ignored you.
無視してってところが面白いね。
The movie is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm curious as to whether or not the story of the film is a personal one for Miyazaki, and for you, does any aspect of the story personally resonate with you?
今回の作品素晴らしいんですけれども、これは宮崎監督にとってのそのパーソナル、非常に素敵な作品なのかで、鈴木さん自身、どっか共感する部分はありますか？
これは僕ね、なかったですよね、最初は。で、どうしてかっていうとね、なんていうのかな、今日本では、やっぱり男の子が少年が主人公っていう映画はね、なかなかうまくいかないんですよ。だから、皆さんは自分を主人公に映画を作りたかったけれど、果たしてそれが本当に面白いものになるのか。でそれはね、彼も十分分かってました。分かってたがゆえに、その主人公を描くためにね、背景として、いろんなね、すごいシーンをいっぱい作るっていうことを始めましたね。
So, is this a personal story for Miyazaki? Yes. Did it resonate with me? I don't think so. Because I feel that in Japan recently, not many films have succeeded with a male protagonist. And so when Miyazaki came to me and asked me or told me that he wants to make a film, the protagonist being based on himself, I wasn't sure if that was going to be an interesting film enough for the audience, and he knew that too. So he, in his mind, he was to have many sort of interesting visual scenes to support the male protagonist. That was his idea.
So I'm very curious as to how did you first meet Hayao Miyazaki, and what led you to want to start an animation studio with him?
宮崎監督との出会いと、どうして、スタジオを作ろうと思ったのか、アニメーションスタジオを作ろうと思ったのか。
彼がね、宮崎駿がね、実は皆さんご存知のルパン三世カリオストロの城、それを作って、スタッフの評判ものすごい良かったです。しかし、世間の評判は悪くて、お客さんが全く来てくれなかった。そしたら、その親しかった、そして彼をね、支持してくれたスタッフを、それから お金を出す人たち、みんな離れてっちゃったんですよね。で、残ったら気がついたら僕一人しかいなかった。だから僕としては、彼とね、しょうがない、俺が引き受けてやらざるを得ないと思ったのがきっかけですね。
So I first met him when he was working on the Castle of Cagliostro, and although it's said that to be one of a classic back then, people who were working on the team and the whole sort of staff supporting the film, in the beginning they were very supportive and they were saying that, oh, this is a masterpiece. However, it was a box office failure. Not many people went and saw the film, and so the staff and the team, many people who were supporting him left him. So he was all alone, and I was the only one left. So I thought that, okay, I needed to be the one to support him. So that's why I got into this. Decided to make a studio.
One of the other amazing things about the movie is the continuation of having, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Joe Hisaishi as your composer. And I'm curious as to what about his work has made you and Miyazaki return to him for almost 40 years now.
で、平井市長さん、今回も音楽担当されてますけれども、なぜこれだけ長く、一緒にやりたいと思わせ続けてるのか、彼の音楽。
宮崎駿と久石さんは、僕はね、傍から見てても相性が良かったんですよね。で、性格的にも似たものを持ってる。そしたらこれはコンビとしてずっとやれるんじゃないか。そう思って今日まで続いてきました。
So from me, objectively observing them, I feel that Hayao Miyazaki and Joe Hisaishi, they make a good pair. I think they have similarities in their personality, so I thought they will be a good team, one of a kind, two of a kind. So there will be a good team together. So that's why we've continued the collaboration.
Was there any part of The Boy and the Heron, part of the story of that was challenging for Miyazaki to complete?
今回の作品、新しい作品で、物語の中で、完成するのに苦労した部分っていうのはありますか？物語の中で。作品作る上で、監督にとって。
絵描きをね、絵の中心人物を若い人を起用したんですよ。そしたらその人とね、いいペアを組めるかどうか。ここが一番ポイントでしたね。僕はその間に挟まれて一生懸命いろいろ頑張りました。
So one of the big challenges in making this film this time was we decided to bring in a younger animator to work on the animations this time. So the big challenge was whether the chemistry would work between that young animator and Miyazaki. So I was kind of caught in the middle, trying to make things work. So that was a huge job for me.
And I hate to put you on the spot about this, but do you have a personal favorite film from Studio Ghibli that you've been a producer of?
自分が制作したジブリの作品で一番好きな作品ありますか？あえて言うなら。
いつもね、いつもだと、どれが好きかって言いづらいんですけど、今回はズバリ言います、あなたには。トトロが一番印象に残ってます。
So that's always a difficult question for me, hard to answer. But today I'll make an exception and tell you, it's My Neighbor Totoro.
That's a beautiful movie. I finally watched it for the first time the other day, and it's just gorgeous. I absolutely adore it.
先日初めて見たそうです、トトロ。ですっごい良かった。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much for saying that.
Well, Mr. Suzuki, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you all the best over this season. And to all of our viewers, please like, subscribe, and keep coming to Gold Derby to make your predictions this Oscar season.
ありがとうございます。Thank you.